because there's so much information out there, all of us can read the same scripts. And in fact, actually, we have the script for you just literally read in front of in our studios. Everyone wants to be like a teacher, influencer, content creator, but now it's Instagram and Facebook is so much of that. People are kind of annoyed and they know when something really polished, you're selling something. Now what people are looking for is like a BFF. They're looking for someone that they're more relatable to. They can have the same hobbies, and then you're a realtor. I think I hear like even Ryan Serhan and Kofi Nardi at Real say the same thing. It's the and aspect. Well, I'm a mom, or I'm a teacher, or I'm a runner, or I collect shoes. I'm none of those things. I'm using those examples, but I'm also a realtor. So you can find ways to connect with people, then they can sign your DMs on more. If you're doing a lot of different things through your stories, where it's a little more raw, authentic, unedited, you can open up opportunities for people to DM you about something.
You are listening to the #1 real estate podcast in the world. We talk with the real estate professionals all across North America about their wins, losses, lessons, and stories help you win in your local market today. My name is Cody from Sheridan Street. I'm joined with Vikram Deal of the Real Estate Sales Academy. Vic, my man, second and last podcast of the day. What's happening?
We have another podcast today?
No, this is it. This is second.
Okay.
Second last.
Yeah. It feels good to have only a couple podcasts. We actually get to go way deeper with our guests, which is great for our audience, and we get to do more research on it, which is fun. So Friday's my follow-up days, dude. Friday follow-ups. So I have a bunch of sales calls lined up throughout the week, and I'm just trying to figure out my flow because we're back in the building mode. Yeah, and I just everybody who I had an appointment with that didn't buy, I call them on Fridays, and what I'm going to start doing next week or the week after when I'm back in Colombia is the people who did buy, I'm just going to make sure that either me or somebody on the team reaches out to them to make sure they're getting access to everything, just to really make that onboarding process better. Because, as we were talking about in the last call, good processes drive great results. Mm-hmm. And so if we make sure that once somebody jumps in, somebody from the team, whether they're just on the platform or they're buying the big enchilada, they're getting that personalized touch one last time before they go kind of like into their own schedule of learning.
Yeah, man, I hear you. Like the biggest thing that I think I've realized through, hiring hundreds of people over the last, 5-10 years is the fact that like you need to, or even in sales, you got to reinforce the decision that they actually made a good decision, either A, joining your team, or B, joining your organization, or C, for, from a client perspective. You want to, like, so many people focus on the entry point. It's like, awesome, I have a sale, or awesome, I found a new person. But it's like that reinforcement of the decision that they made, because it's almost like you're selling them back into the program, or you're selling them back into the fact that they made the right decision joining your team. And this is going to be a great podcast today, because somebody that has hired hundreds of agents, thousands of agents, and someone that is doing things at a really, really high level. Really, really excited to chat with Kenny Fast here today. Kenny, why don't you give us kind of the Cliff Notes version of kind of like how you got into the real estate space, what you're up to now. I know you're with EXP. You're doing some really, really cool things. You're focused on obviously building a team. We were chatting in the green room about kind of your onboarding process, but like, obviously, onboarding 220 agents and having 220 agents and 500 in your downline didn't happen overnight. You mentioned like 15 years in the real estate business, doing really cool things. You have a leadership team now, but it obviously all didn't start there. So like, walk us back really quickly to the start of the journey to kind of like where you're at today. And then we can jam about some of the lessons that you might've learned and some of the losses you've made over the last couple of years that have kind of made you who you are today. So give us the Cliff Notes version.
Yeah, I started real estate. I think I got licensed in 2009. So somewhere around 14, 15 years. I worked as an assistant for 1 year before I got licensed. Even within my first year of real estate, I was working a couple other jobs, so I didn't take it seriously. But I was an independent agent for roughly 2 years at my first boutique brokerage. It just had 6 people at that shop, so I didn't learn like a lot of systems, but I was reading like Tech Savvy Agent and going to Inman, reading Inman and going to those stuff every day to learn. It was about my 3rd year in real estate. I started considering hiring hiring assistants and had team members. And that year became the #1 buyer's agent in Oakland. I held that title for a good 10 years, working, just grinding me out for units. And then that was my first boutique for 4 years. I went to their company, my 5th year in business, and stayed there for 5 years before they eventually, 3 years in, got acquired by Realogy, Now Anywhere, and they didn't close up shop. But during that time, I was able to kind of scale that. I brought about 60, 70 agents to that company myself. I was recruiting that company. I didn't get paid for it till much, much later on. Had good run there. They were known for the technology. Won Inman Most Innovative Brokerage of the Year. Climbed it, and I won Most Innovative Agent my first year with them. And my 10th year in business, which was January 2020, moved my team over to eXp Realty when Climb shut down. Had a team of about 11 that year. The following January, this was COVID year. So there's a lot going on there. And then the following January, about 110 agents on my team. And now today, and fast forward 2 years, which was previous January, February, we were at the very peak. We had about 374 agents on the team. Last year, with the tough market as it was, we started cutting heavily, putting a lot of standards in place. We ended up losing about 98 agents in June and July of last year. And now we've cleaned our roster out. We finished that year. We finished 2 years ago with 1,005 units. Last year we did 850 units, decreased quite a bit, but with only about 210 agents. So our company has kind of evolved over time. Early on, we were a big flex team. Now we kind of evolved into mostly a social media team, and now we're kind of evolving back again to more like recruiting less agents, but higher quality agents. So as the market kind of shifts up and down, we kept on changing the avatar we're looking for and we're working with.
So what is the avatar that you're working with now? Like I want to start there because I think that so many agents right now are struggling in the marketplace that would die to have your systems, your processes. Like we were in the green room talking about the 30-day cycle. I think that every real estate agent needs to have that 30-day cycle about how to do sphere of influence, how to do partnerships, how to do social media, how to do Zillow, how to take a Zillow call, like all these different things that you're offering. I guess like, what do you look for in an agent? Number one question. And number two question is like, how does somebody that is potentially struggling find a team like yours or even get access to potentially life-changing onboarding?
There's a lot of questions there, but say, well, the avatar, we're looking for people who are gritty and not afraid to work. Age doesn't really matter, but we also want people that are like very open to being social online and building a personal brand. Over 80% of our team's deal was self-sourced. So it's hard to, like at this size, you would think we're in PPC and all that stuff, but no, like our online lead stuff is maybe 15% top. So we want people who are willing to just be themselves. Our company logo, I mean, we go by Team Fast, but our company logo is Be You But Fast. We had like mission statements and core values. I didn't know what it was like, but we just decided to be easy. And every agent on our team has a different perception of what that means. So we kept it kind of vague. Be you. Like you go see all these influencers and coaches that be authentic on camera, be yourself, all that. So that's what we really push. And then how our agents are sourcing business. We might have a lot of shiny stuff online. We look like we're kind of always having fun, but behind the scenes, we're really big on really productive activities. Like a 30-day onboarding right now, agents, when they come in, they have to create reels. They have to go preview homes. They have to do open houses. They have to, depending on where they're at, we recommend a door knock and hit SOIs. So really, really boring stuff. But then we give them a checklist to work off of. And we continue to hold training. This is the last 3 weeks. We had like a listing workshop that me and our partner Elias led. And then last week we had a social media content workshop. Like 25 people were in the office for that. We just 2 days ago had a buyer workshop on how mostly new agents, but other people are getting refreshed on how like disclosures, get your offers accepted and such. So that's like the classes are unique to the last 12 weeks. But then we have ongoing coaching 3 times a week. Monday, Wednesday, Friday for an hour each day by Elias. And we also do like role play in the office on Thursday. We do online leads training, which some of it is opt-in, like for the Ojo and Op Cities, but then they're required they want to maintain a spot on the Zillow team, both buyer and seller side. They have to come to the meetings for training and there's metrics that hit. So we run a company with a lot of data tracking every agent, but the agents themselves, we run more like a brokerage where they have free roam. If they want to be on certain lead flow and certain things and certain metrics that stay in the team, that's a requirement. And just, we also, if an agent hasn't done any deals for 6 months, which is not that many since we did the cleanse last year, maybe 25 people was in that 23, 24 people was in that category where they didn't do the deal for 6 months. Then we emailed them, hey, you need to enroll this new program. We call it recommit, which is very similar to 30-day onboarding. And then and when we did that like a month ago, half the people didn't even respond. So we simply released them back to EXP as solo agents because we couldn't get a response from them. And the other half we put in the program. We give them 2 times to do that. And with that said, like based on a roster of 210 agents right now, 90% of agents on our team did at least 1 deal last year. So to me, that's really productive to run at the scale and still have agents. We don't just have agents sitting around doing nothing. And they do, then we're just not the right fit for them.
Yeah, man. I love this. I love structure, right? The number one challenge that agents have is when they start working with me and we start training even the teams now, is their agents have no structure, right? And these are like 30, 40, 50, 60-year-old people. They're like, Mike, what time do you wake up in the morning? I don't know, between 8 and 9. I'm like, say what? What time do you do your first prospecting call? Oh, you know,
at 8 this morning, but I watched Dune 2 last night, and then we got home at like almost 1. But it's not.
Bro, you also have an organization that you have grinded on that allows you the freedom and flexibility, right? Like that's the thing, bro. Like you have earned your late mornings because they're not very often. And so when you do it, like there's no guilt around it. And it's because when you grind it out for 10 years and you've got the accolades and you've stacked cash and you've built the business, you've built the processes, it affords you that flexibility. The funny thing is the people that have the flexibility, they still wake up early. They still grind it out continuously. Their grind has changed. Yeah. Because I see you at all the events across the country. You are on the circuit and you're at all the events, networking, meeting, learning. And the crazy thing is that if you go to an event, and this is what agents don't get, you share, like if people don't follow you, they should follow you, because when you go to an event, you share your notes, you share from the audience what you're learning. Like that's the thing that I love about you. It's like you're a perpetual student. And even the first thing you said is when I was a brand new agent, I didn't have a lot of resources available. So I went out and found Inman. I went out and found all these different companies to start learning from. I want to ask you this question because I've known you now. We hung out back in the day about a decade ago, and you started evolving from, I think you owned every bench stop in town.
Not every. I had at its peak, I had 99 bench ads in Oakland. And then on the bench ad, it just says hashtag fast agent on it. So I got to
get fast agent
on my brand there.
So you've always been big on brand, right? Like you've always been big on brand. And a lot of times people say, oh, don't do this. Like I say to people, like, you shouldn't do stuff like that because most people don't have the longevity to support it, right? And if you're only putting your name out on a bench seat and you're using the standard remarks of like, I'm the #1 Remax company, blah, 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 right? The same crap we see all over the world, people just ignore it. Now you're shifting, right? To have a company with 200 plus agents and 80, what did you say? 80% came from
self-source.
Well, you've become highly profitable, right? Because that means you're paying less leads. How are you pouring that back into your agents? Because here's what I'm going to hear from agents, right? Oh, well, if they're making all the money and the agents are doing all the business, why don't they just go out on their own? So why don't your agents leave you at such a high level?
Because we try to, because this talk comes out live, especially in this market. I was on 2 panels last week about like team versus solo. You know, as a solo agent, you take a lot of risks. You know, you're probably not going to go hire a photographer for all your past clients for like a Santa shoot or autumn shoot or Valentine's shoot. That wouldn't even make any sense, or Chinese New Year shoot. But we do stuff to enhance it, and you're probably not going to do as many client appreciation parties, happy hours, different things. So like for us, like we're trying to always be the partners for the real estate agents. Like what would a top producer need in this market? Some examples of things that agents should totally go out and get that they probably wouldn't is like your own assistant or your own virtual assistant. Well, we have like technically 15 virtual assistants,
Wow.
Some of them do like free random small projects. They're not ongoing work for the agents. And then we have 4 full-time video editors and the studio. Like, I didn't think about this yesterday until I talked to someone like, well, what would it cost if someone rent that studio for a day to record stuff? High end, I don't know, $50, $100 an hour. And then you got to pay the videos, $50, $100 a video. Well, we offer that as a free service to the agents. If you were to go rent a brewery or a small restaurant or a bar to hold a happy hour for your past clients,
couple grand.
That's probably a bar minimum tab, right? Of $1,000, $2,000, depending on the size of it and the coolness of the location. Well, our office spaces, all 7 of them, agents are using those. They book it through Typeform to use our offices as a client appreciation party, home buyer workshops. Someone's doing like a mimosa and millennials thing. It's just last week, an agent, a coach. I didn't know he's an investor, has like 50 properties. But I didn't know that this guy, George Dominions on my team, is also a soccer coach for the local school. That was pretty cool. He held a celebration party for the end of the year with over 100 students at my office. If you were to rent a restaurant or any location, that's $3,000, right? So we have all those services for agents for free so they can tap in. So that's going to help them build their business, but without any upfront costs. And the agents who do leverage that are constantly gaining more and more business.
Bro, that's crazy. Like, so your office spaces double as a venue, that triple as a podcasting recording studio. That
Well, also we have podcast recording high-end studios at 2 locations, and then one of the locations has like 8 rooms. It's a 20,000 square feet office, but we painted the rooms hot pink, yellow, blue, orange, and green, and it's tricked out really fancy staging so people do fun content. Red to fun content in those places.
So you guys are actively promoting with the structure of your offices and the environment to produce more non-boring content as well. Okay, so 2024, right? Because this is a question where we're still in the beginning phases of 2024. We're just starting March. A lot of agents had a really tough year, right? You guys had to cut some people. Some people didn't show up, right? They didn't tap into the systems, et cetera, et cetera. A lot of agents are struggling still. A lot of agents are financially hurting, and we can go down the team route, but I think right now the bigger audience, and there's a lot of teams that are hurting too because their individual agents are hurting. So if the agent's hurting, the team owner is hurting as well. So what are you, because it's one thing to produce content, but how do we create structured content in 2024 that produces such a high level of results? Because you guys are actually getting people to the DMs. You guys are actually getting people from the DMs to the appointment table and then to the closing table. So I think maybe this would be a cool conversation. It might seem fairly simple for some people, but what kind of content are you creating that's actually getting results?
So I have like conflicting information because we're in the shift right now, I think. Before I joined New Home. You guys don't follow New Home. He's an amazing coach, NEELHOME, also hundreds of thousands of followers to the letter. Also his mastermind. And then the talking head stuff is really solid still, especially for new agents because they're learning and providing information at the same time. But Min's presentation I listened to yesterday, and actually how I run my business, is because there's so much information out there, all of us can read the same scripts. And in fact, actually, we have the script for you just to read in front of our studios. Everyone wants to be a teacher, influencer, content creator, but now it's the Instagram and Facebook is so much of that. People are kind of annoyed, and they know when something really polished, you're selling something. So now, because I post my stories, I don't know, you guys follow me on stories, I post 30, 40 times a day, literally every day. And then now what people are looking for is a BFF. This is quoting Min from yesterday. They're looking for someone that they're more relatable to. They can have the same hobbies, and then you're a realtor. I think I hear even Ryan Serhan and Kofi Nardi at Real say the same thing. It's the and aspect. Well, I'm not a mom. That's what I say. I'm a mom, or I'm a teacher, or I'm a runner, or I collect shoes. I'm none of those things. I'm using those example, but I'm also a realtor. So you can find ways to connect with people. Then they can sign your DMs on more. If you're doing a lot of different things through your stories, where it's a little more raw, authentic, unedited, you open up opportunities for people to DM you about something. The example that Min had yesterday was, again, he funded $10 million in loan in November, December, January, 20 million in February, 30. He's changed his algorithm. Now he's getting way more DMs for applications. He started posting his family more, his kids. and Pokemon cards, and then now 65% of his user base is female. He presented yesterday, and now people are giving him suggestions on where to buy Pokemon cards, and then they're back to talking about lending and apps, and he's not just talking about lending; he's talking about like living trust and stuff like that. So people want like raw, just yourself. They want to know who you are. So I literally just bought a new couch. I'm still going to paint my place and stuff. But one of the concepts I've had was, instead of like shooting my studio, which I wasn't doing that too often, I'm going to wake up in the morning with my hair messed up, just don't care, just get around my couch and start. Because I follow real estate news and RS Media, Inman, all that cool stuff, and I always have commentary on it. Probably be more effective if I just sat on my couch, had a good camera and decent mic setup, and just sat there talking to the camera instead of just putting a line. So that's what I'm going to start doing in the mornings. So
are you posting? Are you posting this for? Not sorry to cut you off, but are you posting this raw content just for story, or are you going for your main page as well?
I'm testing out on stories first. Sure, because it sounds like really simple, but yeah, sure, anyone can just shoot at home with a camera, right? But then I want to sit down and have like semi-professional, like in this kind of setting, but do it every single morning with all the content, and instead of taking screenshots and stuff, like actually have something a little more to say about it. I think people will tune in. It's kind of like watching the morning news, right? And then instead of like 5 seconds reading, you might hear me talk for 15 seconds on like, oh, it's not that interesting to you guys. You're not in Oakland, but Oakland just had the first developer ever file an office to home, residential conversion. You see that in Boston and New York and stuff like that. Right. That's interesting to people in Oakland. So I posted a picture of that this morning, but I can totally talk 15 seconds on it, and people would have more buy-in on that. And then it may open up an opportunity for someone to DM me. Oh, that's cool. Like, I don't know, like just examples. So you want to get more, the whole point of social media, like I think moving forward is make it social again. Cause I think it's very much a one-way street. It's an influencer creator trying to grab his own attention. But at the same time, because you can get such good content all the time, most people are still looking for their friends and family for referrals. So you might listen to top people teach something, but you'll still like reach out to your friend and find someone local. So how do you become that local person?
So when agents come into your ecosystem, they work with you. I think that like even the agents that work with Vic and I, like one of the struggles that they have is like, okay, awesome, Kenny, I want to create content. I want to do all these things. Like, how do you help them overcome the mindset of being on camera? When agents come into your ecosystem and they want to get on camera, they want the opportunity to do that. Like, how do you get them past the mindset of like, I have to actually do this. I actually have to, like, I find it's hard for agents to, be like, how do you work with agents to overcome the fear of actually getting on camera?
I mean, we literally make it part of the onboarding process. Maybe like half a year ago, we started having agents. We did a couple of things. When agents now join our onboarding program, we've added what their sales volume goals are, how many hours they're willing to commit to the business. So we can hold them accountable through the year and have open up coaching opportunities. And they have to send us a video. So even when they first join us, they have to send us a video of why they want to join us and why we should let them join us. So it changes the mindset. So before you even join a team, you're shooting your first selfie video. Some people have never shot a selfie video before. It sounds really stupid, but then we get them in mindset. And then part of the first week of onboarding, you have to shoot a video of why you joined the team or why you joined real estate. So it's just really making it part of the onboarding process and holding them accountable to that. And then they kind of come to the office a lot. They see other people and friends and they get ideas. Right now we're experimenting with having our VAs really I don't know what you call it. Like, I don't know, just scroll all day to look for trends. Because I don't spend any time on TikTok. I know that's where the trends are. But like, can you find us the trends and then feed it to our agents to do? I don't want them scrolling. I want them creating fun things and to do. So we're teaching the agents on how to do that. It's an uphill battle on that.
Let's fast forward a little bit because we got the content out there. So we're doing the content. We've got over the fear that we sound, we look, we feel fat, our teeth are yellow, our shirts are dirty, whatever the bullshit is that people use. Now you got people sliding in the DMs, right? Because it's not just the content, it's the DM conversion to the appointment.
Yeah.
Right. Because once you get belly to belly, your opportunities actually arise. When they're just scrolling, there's no opportunity, right? If you're not in conversation, there is no conversion. So the DM, so I slide into your DMs. Oh, hey, Kenny, that was pretty interesting stuff you posted about the condo conversion stuff happening here in Oakland. Now what?
For me, I honestly don't get that many client referrals, but every single week I get at least 1 or 2 referrals from other agents. It's just I probably got at least like 15 referrals this year already. So for an agent, on our team,
maybe your agent on your team.
Yeah, for agents on the team, they're just having a chat because they already have a wall full of content about real estate. They're just waiting for opportunity for that person. When they reach out, usually they're talking. At some point, they have some really basic real estate questions, because that's someone you trust. The first thing they try to do is just book a quick phone call, a 5-minute call, just talk a little more detail. And then after that, they want to book a buyer's consultation. Buyer consultation is usually an hour long. And then we have a PDF, a format on how they should go through that process. And then after that, they'll send them to a lender and then start looking at homes. We also do the same thing, open houses. The whole point of open house is get a buyer to hop on a buyer consultation with you. So that's the process of it. Everything will lead to a longer conversation.
So we're not inside the DM. So I reach out to, Cody's on your team, let's just say. So Cody's a fast agent. I reach out to Cody. Cody's first question shouldn't be to me, hey, when do you want to buy a house?
It should be, with Pokemon card, where do you feel like Pokemon card at? Oh, how many do you have? You literally talk to things that they like. I post food a lot, so I get people signing my DMs all the time about food. And maybe the whole point, you realize not everyone's looking to buy. You're really building connections. You're building trust.
Yeah, it's so funny, dude. I've literally slid into your DMs and be like, yo, bro, that looked bomb. I've literally done that, dude.
Prior to this, maybe in October, I don't cook at all. I go out all the time. Now I eat pretty healthy and I air fry everything. I don't really cook, so I don't count that. So I actually don't cook. But you're just opening up. If you watched my videos last night, there was at least 3 or 4 videos on Dune 2. You seen that popcorn bucket?
I haven't watched your video.
It's kind of raunchy. It's funny. It's this big wormhole thing with it looks like it's just a big hole and you put it's a popcorn bucket, but it's all the rage on social media. There's super last night, so we took a lot of videos of that. The people I went out to, so I got a bunch of DMs this morning on that, and that was just last night. So you're just, and then the whole go is you can't try to book every appointment with every person, right? You're building relationships. I wouldn't ask you to go buy something. I'm not asking you to join EXP, and you're not asking me to join Real or Sheridan Street. But we're just having a conversation, building relationships offline, online. You might meet someone offline and bring it online. Or you might read the relationship online and you see them at a party and now you have a relationship offline. It's all the same. Right. You're just talking more time. But if someone have bought in with you in a relationship, whatever it is you're selling, then if you're just having casual conversation, I think that's even more impactful than trying to go for a sale, because you're actually making a friend. And most of our agents that are getting business, they're not necessarily getting business from their Instagram directly. Let me see how I'm phrase that. From people who follow them currently, but a lot of people who follow Instagram, they talk to you, they're sending their friends and family. Yeah. Hey, you should follow this guy. Behind the scenes, not in your DMs, they're DMing someone else. Hey, you should follow Kenny, or you should follow Kun, or you should follow Peter. And then they build that connection because they're recommended by someone, and they follow them. And they're like, oh, Peter is one of our top agents on team. He's consistently doing 20 plus deals a year. He's 3 years in. He did 20 deals his first year, 25 deals, I think. His wall is really random, and he's pretty strategic. He's talking about he uses kids a lot, so he caters to people in family. He just joined the Porsche Club. If you like cars, you might follow him. Or Kuna team collects sneakers, so he's always doing shoe reviews. Those people, you open the door for something to relate to, so they're not just talking about buying, but when they are looking to buy, sell, or know someone, you're top of mind because you share a passion with them.
Yeah.
For me, I attract agents because I've done 4 different panels or presentations in the last 2 weeks, and then I went to 2 more. So I've been at 6 different events in the last 2 weeks. I'm recording, documenting. Probably got to put them into my highlights. But if you follow me in the last week, you will learn how to sell more real estate. So that's why agents follow me, and they always think of me first when there's a referral in my market from everything from Sacramento to San Jose. And then just last week, 3 or 4 other agents reached out to me asking if I had someone for them. Example, yesterday in Santa Clarita, I don't sell there, it's in SoCal, but then I was able to introduce them to another agent. So it's a 7 levels of is it the 7 levels of communication or friendship or something? Be the connector.
7th level. Yeah. We're all 7 people away from whoever we want to know.
Yeah.
Something like that.
If you're the community connector, for me, it's a real estate space. People know that people think and I tried my best to be that person. People think I know someone in every market, so I try my best to connect the dots. So I'm not posting referrals and reaching out to people. And I think for an agent too, before you reach out to someone you know right away, and you're just looking for additional recommendations, post your referral needs on Instagram. Then now you have a bot audience. Well, if I follow this person, there might be a chance there's a referral for me. Like, because I don't know where Boys Man, Montana is, but 3 referrals were sent down from my group, 1 from my team for Boys Man. So like, I'd never heard of the city before. I just have that. I don't know that market, but I saw 3 referrals coming this month. I found someone, and I know that for a fact. Within my network, that woman, I think her name was Peggy, got 3 referrals from my group, including 1 from my team. So when you're posting stuff online, you get botted from your audience to constantly, like, I hope they have something for me. And then you're also like, you see someone else looking for a referral. If you're looking for a referral in somewhere, I don't know, Henderson. I know people in Henderson. I'm just using an example. Henderson, I might post on my wall your need. Hey, any agents looking at Henderson? Vikram's looking. And you know what happens now? Well, someone reaching that feed is going to feed someone else, and now you just help that agent get more business and more bought in the same thing, and now you just picked up more followers in Henderson agents. So you're building a community around yourself to do more business and help people do more business.
I'm super curious, and I want to shift gears here a bit because, like, I think that there's a ton of agents that can learn, like, agents with small teams that can learn a lot from what you've done, because you've been, the 10-person team, you've been the 5-person team. Like, what do team leads need to consider going from 5 to 10, 10 to 20 agents, 20 to 100 agents? Like, what is that? How does that journey look like? And what are some of, like, the mistakes you made along the way that you can kind of share with our audience around going from 5 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 to 100?
I think so. My first company that brokers are 4, I had a team. I grew my team to a team of 3 or 4 over there, and I left everyone behind because it didn't work out. Because we ran more like a group where we were all, like, affiliated with each other. We used the same marketing. It was actually called Team Fast Agent, as this flying house logo. It's terrible now. But there was a lot of control. So then I left everyone behind on my second team-ish. I ran the E team on my second brokerage, but it was pretty loosely based. You couldn't hold people accountable because then my company bought the leads and I got 25% referral rating. So I couldn't, like, scold people and make them do things. So it had a balance between not pissing people off. That team also, it did well, but until it was kind of dropping off, and then people got successful. The good ones got successful about their own leads, so it kind of disassembled. The third time I tried this team thing 5 years ago, I realized I had to take control. It's my team. I make the rules. I hold people accountable. If you want to be on the team, you have to do this. So when you're growing a team, depending on the size, if you're going to keep it small, you probably have to be the rainmaker. If any person, for 99% of teams, if any person in your team then outproduces you, they're probably going to leave you because your world is not big enough for them to continue growing. It's like, well, why am I paying you all of this? You're not even working that hard. I'm doing more deals than you. So you got to kind of constantly outgrow them. And if you're looking at a 10, 20 person team, you probably, at that point, you should have assisted by then, managing some of the easy stuff so you can focus your time, energy on pushing your production. But at 10 and 20, you probably have a sales manager or someone to look at, follow up boss or whatever CRM you're using and hold the accountability. If you're on, like, lead platform, to check on the metrics every single week. And as you're bigger, you don't have to be quite as the rainmaker. You need to have a lot of resources. For us, when we grew it became adding in the sales manager, became adding in more online lead opportunities for the agents. So I'm not bringing the leads directly. And then it's evolved over the last 2 years to be our video editor team and a virtual assistant team to create custom marketing. So you're growing big at this scale. You got to figure out, like, do you want to come? And then you got to look at who your competition is and who they're offering. You have to offer more than them and know your avatar. If you're a small luxury market, I'm not in the small, like, luxury market. You probably have to be a rainmaker with a lot of listings because I want to work open house opportunities. And then you're our size. Like, I don't really think we're pretty dominant on the team space because we recruit 80% of the people we get in front of, like, because we have all this stuff. So we're trying to compete against the bigger companies in this. It's a challenge. Like, Compass and Side have they're very resourceful and they have great brands out here. But that's the people I feel like we're competing against is these larger companies. Well, what do they have? They have a really great tech stack. They have great office manager tuning in with the people. They have good branding. So, like, as you evolve your team, you got to figure out who you're competing against and what kind of team you want to be. Because it's not just a size. It's not the reason. It's just a size of the team that matters, but they all run a little differently.
That's people are going to skip over that. You literally said my team, which is big, for a team, but it's small compared to a brokerage.
Yeah.
And you're literally like, well, if somebody's going to join me, I'm competing against Compass, and I'm competing against like these huge national chains with millions and millions of dollars. And you guys remember this in the real estate space. I say this to my clients. You are not qualifying the prospect. The prospect is always qualifying you. Whether you're Kenny's Fast team with 1,000 transactions, 800 to 1,000 transactions a year, the person that comes to you is qualifying you to see if they want to join you. And if we start to think about like that as a different perspective, we change the way we look at our clients and our prospects. Yeah. We should be doing the best job possible to attract them. And then we have to do the best job possible to keep them. And then we got to do the best job possible to have the conversations with them. You're always looking to evolve, right? You work with my friend Raquel, you're always looking to evolve your branding. You're always looking to evolve your services, your systems, your processes. And if you guys listen to what Kenny says, there's a reason why he's got 500-600 people on his downline. There's a reason he's got a team of 200. But I also want you guys to hear the humility that we tried this, we tried that, we tried this, we tried that. There's no perfect system. And even though you're having success all the way through, it was always let's redo this. Let's try this. Let's do this. Okay, let's go hard on this one. Okay, that didn't work. You guys, that's the humbleness that great entrepreneurs have, is that they realize that there's opportunities to always get better, and that what worked last year isn't going to work this year. So there's a lot of nuggets, you guys, in that little short soundbite that Kenny just spoke to about why they are where they're at. And they also have had to evolve to get there. Kenny, we got to wrap up on time. We went way longer than what I know. We have a hard stop here in a few minutes. Where do people find you?
I'm at Instagram, where Kenny_Fast, or you want to follow our team Instagram, it's the Fast Agents. If you want to get in touch with me directly, call kennyfast.com is my calendar link for anyone just want to hop on my calendar.
And then if you had to speak, right, to team leads, I kind of want to switch the gear here a little bit. If you had to speak to a team lead that's got, let's call it between 7 and 12 agents, that seems to be a pretty sweet spot in our marketplace, 7 to 12 agents, what would be like one overarching message that you would deliver to them if 2023 kind of kicked them in the stomach? Like, what would you say?
I think it's the year to cut back. If the agents aren't producing and not motivated, and they haven't done so already in last year's market, not just based on productivity and their results, but more on their actions. If not showing up at the office, they haven't been to your meetings lately, they've been ghosting you at social events, I think it's ready to just cut them and have a clean slate and have a clear mindset, and they'll just do way better. I see way too many teams keep complaining about the non-producers. You're just let them go to find a better home, and then focus on your time, energy on your own business. You got to get back in production a little bit this year. It sucks, but I mean, no one's that busy, so you have time to get in production, and then go find new people. I saw this really cool stat yesterday. It's actually the first time I've ever seen this stat, so I'm gonna be using it a lot. Keller Williams, Gary Keller from the mega camp family reunion. Something happened last week, a big one. The family reunion. 500,000 agents are being licensed this year. They want to capture 500,000 agents are getting licensed this year. Keller Williams wants to capture 100,000 of them. They usually do. I think 1 out of every 20 agents in the U.S. is Keller Williams, and 1 out of 25 in the U.S. is EXP. But the number of realtors doesn't really go up that much every year. It goes in fact, it dropped last year. So what does that mean? Well, if 500,000 agents are joining real estate this year, that also means 500,000 agents are leaving. And so you have 500,000 agents to go. You gotta look for them. You gotta go to these events and identify talent. That's why all these little panels and stuff. Yeah, that person watching people on how they get your offer set that you might think is a waste of time. I was there yesterday. Well, I'm looking for people who are honed in, that haven't sold the house yet, that's there to learn. It's like I saw on someone else's team, I'm trying to recruit her, but I saw a same person at 3 events in the last week and a half. I was like, okay, that person is probably going to be successful. They're on my radar. If they ever have any issues with their team, I would love to work with that person. So you got to go look for talent, and you got to hunt for talent. So if you have bad people on your team, it might just be time to cut them and have them be free. And then you got to go rebuild your business from scratch this year. And this year, from many sources I've read, is that this year we'll have more agents leaving the business than even last year, which I think is insane because we lost like 200 something agents last year. I don't know. We've cut the race. I don't know who those people are because we don't know their names, but you probably do in your market who shouldn't be in business.
Man,
amazing.
So much. Thank you for bringing so much value today, you know, especially in the market that we're in. You know, we used to say the market that we're headed into, the market that we're currently in is requiring more. You know, as my good friend Sharon Zarvatza says, you know, we exited a momentum market. We're in a skills-based market. And this is a ton of value. Kenny, thank you so much for joining us today on the RJ podcast. And I want to say thank you for tuning in another episode. We'll see you soon.